Oh, the Hermit. You're going through things right now, something right now alone, and you're meant to go through it alone. You have to step through the door alone. I was also drawn to the candle. And when I look at the candle, it's like this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. There's the moon there too. Um, so there's a lot going on here. You have a light that you haven't let been stamped out completely. You've gone through a lot of turmoil and bumpiness, and now you're approaching a period of isolation, and you're stepping through the door alone. You hold a lot of keys here to your future. There's a multitude of different paths you have, and not like different directions or paths you're going to go down. It's like they're all being, you're going down all of these paths at the same time. So you have different avenues in your life, and all of those are progressing. And this isolation is sort of the stepping stone into this evolution for all of these pursuits. We have the Magician too, so I'm getting the sense, if you haven't already, it's good to revisit your manifestations from the New Year's and look at what you were calling in, because it is Beltane now. We're past the point of Beltane. We're stepping into summer. This is the point where manifestations can start to come in. And there's a snake shedding his skin. That's the first thing I notice. So yeah, you've already gone through a major transformation. I also feel like you might have been sick in the past couple weeks or month. You got sick. That was like part of your activation, spiritually stepping into this. With the Six of Cups reversed. Okay, it's your grandparents, dead grandparents. They are looking at you. They're fully aware of the. So, as dead spirits, they're no longer alive. These are grandparents. They might be great grandparents, but they're not alive. So, if they're alive, it's not regarding them. They're fully aware of the trauma that when they were on Earth, they inflicted upon their children, and that trauma that got inflicted down and passed on to you. They're aware of that omnisciently. However, one of the things here is they're so proud of you for the work you're doing, because they don't make excuses for the shitty ways they showed up and made mistakes and hurt things in their lineage, passed things down. As spirits, they're fully aware of the trauma they caused and the damage they caused. However, I get the sense that your mother and your father and your parents make excuses for them because they haven't healed. Your parents haven't healed. And so your parents are making excuses for the way they were raised and the trauma they received, so that they can justify the trauma they've inflicted to you. And your grandparents did that to them while they were alive, but now they're dead, and they are up in the spiritual realm, in the 5D, and they're looking at you, and they're annoyed with your parents, because they're like, why are they making excuses for the version I was on Earth that was shitty, that caused problems? Like, no, look at it honestly, look at it realistically, and heal so you don't pass that down. And instead, they made the same mistakes, and you are actively breaking those cycles. And part of that is not making excuses for your parents. I don't think you're doing that. Not making excuses for the dysregulated parts of your family system. That's one of the biggest cores of transcending in your life, is looking at the system you were incarnated into and breaking out of patterns in that system. And the reason I said that is because we have the Four of Wands here, which is like a marriage, family, household sort of card. And this is also like a childhood card. So I'm really getting the sense that This being upright as well. Also, you might be queer. I think you might be queer because these are two women. So I think you might be queer in some way. I don't necessarily think you have to be like a lesbian. I don't think this is just for like a lesbian reading. I think it's just you're queer in some way, bisexual, gay, identity, trans, asexual, aromantic, something. And you are completely setting up this new system in your home. There's also a red ribbon. So I do get the sense that that makes me think of the red string theory in, I think it's Chinese folklore, where there's a person who's tied to you by a red string and you will always find your way back to each other because you're meant to be together. There's a person in your life like that who is like your ultimate soulmate. It could even be a friend. It could be a friend with a deep connection. But the purpose of this card is to elaborate to us that you are completely reestablishing what home feels like for your lineage. I'm going to pull one more card. Ooh, okay, we had the Lovers on top. That's interesting. What is one more card for this person? I know it's been kind of a long reading. Thanks for staying. Okay, there it is. Oh, and the Two of Cups. Wow, we just pulled the Lovers reversed and then the Two of Cups reversed. I'm going to say it. I think you're going in the wrong direction when it comes to love. I think you're giving too much in love. And I think... Ooh, I think you're sacrificing your voice too. That when I cough, like... especially if it feels like it's in my throat, it feels like expression right away. And throat chakra, and therefore you're sacrificing a bit of your voice, or you're biting your tongue to hold the peace in your connection or connections if you're actively dating. And you're giving too much to others and not giving enough to yourself. This is going to warp a relationship that you're already in, or it's going to attract all the wrong people if you're seeking. So, yeah, you're going through the transition right now, and you might have a lot more than you usually have because you're healing and your manifestations are coming in. However, you're meant to keep that. The energy, the money, the time, and pour it back into yourself. You're not meant to give it away, especially in the people you're loving or romantically connected with. And the Four of Swords reversed. I'm getting the sense that you're not, like, resting. That's it. Like, you might not be resting. You might not be taking as much care of yourself. You're not filling your cup first and giving from the overflow. That's not what you're not doing. So you're passing, to reiterate, you're passing through this portal. You're passing through alone this portal. You're keeping your light alive. Your manifestations are coming in. Your grandparents are proud of you for the trauma that you're healing because you're stepping through a door. They're waiting to give you gifts as well on the other side of that door. I think it's money and opportunities. And then you're rewriting what home feels like for your family system, which will be rewarded. The only thing you need to watch out for is overgiving in your relationship.